We're not self-motivated. We're not self-regulated. We need outside cues from people. And that's not how the Creator made us. He didn't make us for other people to be over us. So here's what I told my wife. Sweetheart, if another human can tell you to get up and go to work and do what you're supposed to do, why can't you pretend like if you need another human, be the human. You be that human. If you need somebody to tell you you need to lose 100 pounds, be your own voice and tell yourself you need to. Don't go pay nobody $50,000 and you wait till you can do it yourself. And I'm not saying don't get a person, but at some point you got to cut that person off. Why? Because if you don't have personal discipline, you'll never get to the next level. The next level is not something that's far away. Like Paul said, the next level is execution is not something that we do, it's something that we are. And most of us aren't disciplined. It's like you just go like you drink, so you just go, you can't tell yourself, you know what, I'm not mad at you drink, but you gotta drink during the weekday. Like you drinking in the morning before you go to work. He gone now. He's no longer with us. You drinking in the afternoon, you drinking at night. Like I'm feeling you like to drink, but like all day, every day, the weekend, the weekday, and some of you, the things you like, you have absolutely no control. You are like a slave to you. You are a slave to your personality. You are a slave to some of your vices. You are a slave to some of the things you like. You are a slave. You have absolutely no control. And what I'm telling you is the reason why we fast from time to time is not that we have to fast, but at some point you gotta fast because you gotta tell the flesh who's in control. I'm in control. You're not in control. I know you don't want to wake up. You don't have an option. Get up. We trying to eat. There's a certain lifestyle for. You think I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock? I put up a video. Y'all know what happened. I've been communicating with people this morning. I'm supposed to do videos at 3 or 2 after the community, and they're still doing it. Some kind of way. I don't know. I must have went to sleep, woke up. I didn't know what time it was. So I sent Nick what I wanted to say, and I looked this morning. I sent it at 12 o'clock at night, midnight. I thought I sent it like 10:30, 11. So when I got up, it was like 3 something our time. And I was like, shoot, I ain't put my video on. And I put the video up, and I heard something in the back of my mind say, oh, it's okay, you're on vacation. I said, what? Oh, it's okay. They're looking at it. I said, look, man, who's getting up at 3 to read my stuff because he got somewhere to go. He don't know that I'm on vacation. He don't know that I'm here. That don't got nothing to do with his life. He don't know I'm in Mexico. I ain't posting no video. He don't have his life right there. He just know wherever he live in the world, at my 3 o'clock, he uses that stuff to do what he's supposed to do. And he's sitting there waiting. And an hour go by. He like, I guess he ain't posting today. Listen to me. I was so late posting, I almost didn't want to post because I was scared. I'm like, I'm about an hour, 50 minutes, 2 minutes off. I'm 2 hours off. God said, post it. Like, that's discipline. Well, I got to post a video. I'm way past post a video. Post a video for stuff we did. We blow up. We blow up. I don't got to post videos. I don't post videos to get motivated. I don't post videos to get inspired. I post videos to be disciplined. Get your butt up and post a video. Either you post it the night before for Vicky, or if she does, or when you get up at 3 o'clock and you do it. That's discipline. That's a certain time frame that I'm supposed to eat, and certain things I'm supposed to eat, and then not eat after a certain time. I'm making money. I can eat whatever I want, but I'm trying to discipline myself. Because there was a time I did not discipline myself. You are not where you want to be, not because you need any more gifts. You don't need nothing else. You need to discipline yourself. You need to learn to tell you no. You keep talking about everybody else, you can't tell no. You can't tell you no. You can't tell you stop. You can't tell you quit. You can't tell you nothing. You got to get to a point where you're disciplined. And what separates the talented, if everybody's talented, if everybody's equally gifted, what separates us is discipline. I talk to you. Before I point, what do you got to do to separate yourself? Yeah. What time is that? What time are they getting at? Good. So you need to be up at least by what? 7. Am I better than other motivational speakers? I don't know if I'm more talented. I just know I get up at 3 o'clock to put my videos out first. I just know I do 5 a day. So if you're actually better than me, nobody can know. All right, watch this. Tony Robbins back in the day, Les Brown back in the day, when you watch a 2-minute video and you ordered one of the videos, how long do you think it takes for the CD to get to the crib or the DVD to get to your crib? Anybody, how long do you think it takes? 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I did something nobody else did. I gave away my content. I put my content out every day. Probably in love with ET at that point. You about to get a divorce. You just failed your bar exam. Your team just lost in the championship. You don't need motivation 4 weeks from now. I saw a gap, y'all. I saw a gap in the industry. And I said, just give your stuff away for free. And guess what? When you give it away for free, they will be endeared to you because I believe the content is sweet. You know when you go to the grocery store or you go to the mall and they say, try fried rice. You're like, yo, I'm good on that. No. Try fried rice. You're like, bro, I want to try fried rice. And you taste it. You're like, oh. You're like, come, $5.99. Right? They gave it to you for free. And then you did it for free, and guess what happened? You brought a whole meal. So I'm being real. What are you going to do to separate yourself? I separated myself. I started getting up early, 3 o'clock in the morning. I never forget a kid from Chicago told me, like, yo, E, we talking about thank God it's Monday. You release your videos on Sunday night. I said, bruh, it's Sunday in Chicago. It's Monday in Singapore. It's Monday in Australia, baby. We ain't just getting American money. We all over the world. I'm separating myself. I put myself out on Sunday night in the shop, but in the world, it's Monday. So what are you doing to separate yourself? 2, 3 more. Talk to me. What are you doing? Wake up early. I love you. What are you doing? Good. Taking I love that. Accountability. Coach ain't got to tell you. Your mama ain't got to tell you. Your daddy ain't got to tell you. That's what happens when you got an entitled spirit and you think you're there already. You don't hold yourself accountable. Good. Talk to me. Good. Figure out your priorities. Give me some of your priorities. If you leave the gym early, give me an example. What time is you get paid for? Dude, how much money that paid? No, I'm saying again, how much money that paid? But staying in the gym to possibly do what? Take care of your family. Good. Somebody else. Love it. Talk to me. Good. Stop worrying about what other people's jobs. Because one day you're going to what? Bro, when I see these bros making, when I see them making fake, bro, this is what my mom used to tell me. My mom would say, if he got his mail, that means the mailman is on it. And when I watched out, and this year he got, I'm like, oh, we can make that kind of money. That's so big. And guess what? It don't mean I'm going to make the same money, but it shows me I can be a millionaire as an African-American male who puts in the time with his craft. So I'm not watching what other people are doing, but am I being inspired by other people? Absolutely. So we're not watching what they do because guess what's happening? Just because a man is on top one day, it don't mean he's going to be on top forever. And just because you're not on top today don't mean you ain't going to be on top forever. Who would have ever thought Toronto would have won this year? Right? That came out of nowhere. Everybody was saying what? About the East. Everybody was saying what about the East? They got a chance. Right? All kind of stuff happened. They got a chance. So I love to do it. 2 more. Where we at, baby? Talk to me. This is where the rubber meets the road, where you take personal accountability. Good. Hey, can I say this? No disrespect to rap and where rap is, but like, don't try to be something. Like, don't listen to stuff on and try to be something you're not. All right? Don't be like a studio gangster. Right? For real, some of y'all, you come from good backgrounds. Like, embrace that. Some of y'all come from good homes, good parents. You got 2 parents at the crib. Or you got your mom and your dad both involved in your life. Your grandma doggone took you to church. Your mom prayed with you. And you get out the house trying to act like you feel me. Look, like I told y'all, I'm from the shot. You can look up my birth certificate. I went to school too in Detroit. You can look it up. I don't gotta act like I'm hard. I don't gotta act like I'm nothing. Like I'm going to be who I am. Y'all all came outside. Each one of y'all, when y'all came outside, I did what? I shook your hand and looked you in your eye and said, what's up? And I said what to you? I said who I was and where I'm from. Some of y'all, you big time. You like, whatever. Who's the church? Or who's the dude? I'm like, I don't care how big time you are. I'm here time. My grandma killed if I don't introduce myself. That's just what my grandma taught me. That's life. I don't care how much money I got. I don't care how much fame I got. We all humans. Be who you are, bro.
You got another signing today? I'm here with my notary AXA. When are we signing today? Another deal. Guys, it's so redundant. Look at this. Pace Morby, Pace Morby, Pace Morby, Pace Morby, Pace Morby. That's enough. want to know how I'm doing so many deals, it's called the Gator Method, and I have a training on exactly how you can get better than a well. Just follow me. Click the link down below. I'll show you how you can do all of these drills on your own. Here you go.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from. You come from the suburbs, you ain't got to claim like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you from the north side of Chicago, you ain't got to be from the suburbs, you ain't got to be like, yo, I'm from the west side. You ain't got to try to claim something you're not or be something you're not like. You come from where you understand, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's how I grew up. I wasn't trying to be rebellious wearing a hat. I'm from Run DMC era hat, LL Cool J hat, the Fat Boys hat, the TFO hat. That's the era I'm from. I've been rocking 5950s since I was 16 years old. The shoes, that's my game, bro. I don't do shirt and tie. I think a black man in a suit and tie looks phenomenal. I just don't do shirt and tie. I'm from the street. My people work at Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Didn't nobody wear suits to the plants. We hard hats. So I'm myself, bro, and I'm comfortable with myself. I'm about 5'10" with my shoes off. I'm comfortable. Dude, like, are you sure? I'm comfortable. Married 5'10". Been married 30 years, 5'10". Two beautiful kids, 5'10". I don't need to be 6'6". That's your life. I see dudes 6'10", I'm like, you wasting it. You bragging about you 6'8", you wasting the height. I'm using all my 5'10", bro. I'm using all of it. Not to be funny, I ain't never got beat up. I use all my 5'10". I ain't been broke. I use all my 5'10". I use my mouth. I don't dream to be 6'0". I love my life. Y'all gotta start living your life. And whether you make it to the league or not, you are not who you are because of the league. You are who you are because of who you are. And if you make it to the league, then the league is gonna be blessed with your presence. Are you hear what I'm saying? Be comfortable on who you are. Be comfortable if you're poor. If you come from a family right now that's broke, you use that to your advantage. I use that to my advantage that I was a high school dropout, that I was homeless, that I ain't had trash can. I love dealing with dudes who think because he comes from money, he's better than me. Let's go. Let's go. You got money, but you got that dog. Yeah, you got money, you got print, but you got that dog. Yeah, you got that family. So yeah, you might have something I don't have right now, but if I work hard, I can have what you have. So that's how it is, guys. If you a person who respects, like when you walk outside, if you see the people, because the people you running with don't see the people, don't see you what? Don't you not speak? You like, yo, y'all do y'all. But I'll speak. What's up, bro? Like my man gave me a firm when he was out there. He gave me a firm. I remember that. He really came out and said his name. Are you hearing me? Don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you come from. My last name is Thomas. I represent my stepfather. He stepped in my life because my own dude didn't want to be there. I represent him. I could change my name if I wanted to, but everywhere I go, I respect the man who came in for me when my father wasn't there for me. My mom was 17 years old. High school, they told her to get an abortion. I respect my mom for not getting an abortion, and so I respect the last name. Everywhere I go, I bring my mama pride. Everywhere I go, I bring my sister's pride. I bring my son's pride. Everywhere I go, I bring the pride. Son, you've been on the block somewhere and heard some bad news about your dad. I ain't perfect, but had somebody come up and tell you something that was embarrassing to you about me. I got kids, the decisions I make. My son has to deal with the decisions I make. My daughter has to deal with the decisions I make. Your mom and daddy and your family have to deal with the decisions you make. So tomorrow, you start training. Train like this. It's your life, not a game. Like it's your life. Like it's the last opportunity. Everybody. Get the best thing you got. And if you fail, you can be returned. Come on, you can say what? Try. But if you don't go out there and give 120%, you gotta make it. A man don't always put forth effort and accomplish his goals. As men, we fail too. We don't always do everything perfect, but if you're a real man, you try. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If you're a real man, you try. I say my biological father wasn't a real man, not because I'm mad at my man, but he wasn't there. When you play football, how many games did I make? When you broke your femur, who was at the hospital? When you graduated from high school, where was you? I've always been there. I ain't trying to
What
tell
the
you
fuck?
I'm the man because I got money. I'm the man because I have a responsibility and I live up to my responsibility. I give 120% of everything I do. That's all I'm asking you to do. So when you go out there, stop playing yourself. Don't disrespect this game. Don't dishonor this game. If you're going to go out there, don't go out there with just skill. Go out there with skill and go out there with will. At some point, I see y'all in the D1. I see y'all every year. I do the NBA draft. What do you call it? Transition rookie camp. I'm there. So if you make it to the league, I'll see you there. I'm here for you. Some of you come from a very great support system. You don't need no more support, but some of y'all need support, right? And I'm here to support you. If that's you, pull out your phone. I'm going to give you my number real quick. Bible says, give honor unto CP3, know people all over the world. He and his family can have anybody here. And he brought me here. So on behalf of myself, my son, and my family, I just want to say thank you, bro, for the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Four deals with the one agent, 120 grand.
That's 20K. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess about 20K.
How do you feel about that?
It feels kind of surreal. That feels pretty good.
You're doing agent outreach, you land that one agent, they bring you the lead. It ended up being packaged, it was four deals, but you ended up walking away from that one agent relationship, about $20,000 in revenue. So Tamara, I'm excited to talk with you about this deal that I was a part of and we recently helped you get to the finish line. And this was out in Pueblo, Colorado, right?
Yes.
What was interesting about this deal is you were working with this agent on two other deals. This was the fourth deal in a package from one agent that had a seller that was liquidating properties. And you had already found worked with this agent on those other three properties. I think a package deal with the same buyer, right? You found the same buyer for all three of those?
Yeah, they had tenants in them, so definitely a different type of deal.
Yeah, there were tenants involved, and there were some title things going on. And the buyer, though, did not want this fourth property. And so then that's when you reached out. You're in my 10K plus program. So, I'll buy the deal that fits the criteria. And when you took a look at the deal, it didn't quite fit my numbers. I was coming in around where a lot of the local buyers were that we ended up talking to. And so it was a little over contract for what I would want to get it for. But what we typically do, and this is what we did in your case, is then my dispo team will then take the deal and we'll go ahead and see if we can dispo the deal or find a buyer. We're really good at doing that. So we went to work. Trevor on my team started reaching out to buyers in that market, and we ended up finding a buyer. But we had to do a lot of different things. We had to renegotiate again on the property. We ended up double closing. So this turns into somewhat of a tricky deal. I mean, it all worked out in the end. But oftentimes when wholesaling, you've got to be willing to pivot, make adjustments, renegotiate sometimes. It's usually just a lot of solving problems to get something to the finish line. Let's start maybe at the beginning here, and then we'll get into more of the details on this deal. And maybe tell us a little bit about your start in the real estate. How long ago did you learn about it? How long have you been doing it? What's it look like in the first couple of deals? And maybe we'll start from there.
Yeah. So I actually started looking into this last year. My full-time job for the last lots of years, you won't say how many, is in tech. I run multiple development teams, but I've always been interested in business, and I've always been interested and so I started in January, really started hitting it and most time in May, and my first deal was locked down in by the end of July. I had 5 under contract. One I had to let go because of massive structural issues. 3 of them ended up having tenants, and I wasn't sure what to do. And then the fourth one that I ultimately wanted to flip, but ended up
So those were the first deals. These 4 deals with the one agent. These were your first deals, and it's all, as of this recording, this is all just now happening in the last couple of months.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
so that's exciting.
Yeah, I lost a lot of sleep in this because I've prayed so hard or so long or so frequently
bet.
that I have.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That's really awesome.
guys. Leave a comment and say, Tamara, you're a flipping genius. Let's talk about this agent. You were doing agent outreach, and these were not listed properties. Well, tell us about that. How did you find this agent? Did you call the agent about something listed, and then they brought you to off-market deals? Tell us how that.
Yeah, so I've been doing most of my initial searches on Zillow and Redfin using a lot of the filters you had actually talked about. And I had reached out about a completely different property with this agent, and then he happened to have two estate deals, packages of properties he was trying to offload from two different groups of sellers. And so I started working with him on, I submitted a lot of offers, and they were just denied, but I kept following back up the week after week, try to come to something that was close. And then I think a month or two after I reached out, maybe 3 months after I reached out, he thought and told the deals and said, okay, I was going to take the prices you had offered on these if you wanted to go forward.
By the way, that's why we do the agent model. You know, I always say that when we call one listed properties, you know, maybe we'll get that deal, maybe not. The likelihood's really low because it's active and it's listed and it's usually good. But we call anyway, and sometimes it's in the deal. But the real reason for calling is to have that other conversation, which is what you did, which is basically, hey, I'm looking for deals. If you run into something before you list it, call me. I'll give you my numbers. Let's see if we can put a deal together before you list it. Now you're basically training that agent to break out for you. And when it's in that market, that's when you get some great deals. Yeah. You guys don't know, by the way, you need to join my Monday fast track call that Hugh Boyd does. He's one of our new trainers that we do in the program. He's every Monday. And Hugh does, I think he did last year, 1.3 million in revenue. All exactly what Tamara did. He's amazing. I've had him on the YouTube channel a couple times, and just phenomenal. Now, he's dialed in the entire process. Just done how he follows up, how he practices. But this is no joke. Like, this isn't just something that maybe you get your first deal and then you move on to something else. You can do that, but you can really, really excel with agents if you build that model the right way. So be sure you jump on those calls, guys, because he's going to be breaking down and showing like how he does it. But anyway, going back to you, Tamara, active agents who are out there, think about it. They're doing marketing, they're doing the work, they're sitting down on listing appointments, they're talking to sellers. And when they sit at a distressed seller situation, they do not want to list those properties. Those are very difficult for them. That's 10 times the work because they got to now try to show and sell a house that needs work and it's not showable, it's not clean, all the things. In this case, tenants, like you know how hard it is to sell all the tenants. So they know it. There's no way whether you should be joining the sub 2 years. You know it, and I know it. And I could go on and on about my credentials all day long. Over 2,000 doors in our portfolios, using nothing but free to finance, a dozen successful businesses with hundreds of employees. And who cares about it? What you should care about is how and not only making more than a full-time income, they are leading communities. In fact, our community members were much like you, working a job that's probably not fulfilling them and trying to find a pathway. Here's the difference between you and they survive. And while people are changing their lives by being in our community, you've been busy thinking about, potentially possibly taking some action. Here's what I would do. Click the link down below. Now we know that microplastics, they're found in our penile tissue and our acicular tissue, and now even shopping clothing that is derived from petrochemicals, the polyester, the plastic, and we want to give them a better option for their underwear. So if you can make a choice on something as simple as your underwear, then you're probably going to be able to eventually or immediately make a choice on something as simple as what you're buying. You, and they can call you, then you can solve that problem for them. So Tamara, how did you have the conversation about how that agent gets paid?
I did the double dip method with him before, and he mentioned that he had already done a deal or an agreement with the seller that they would pay the agent fee, and that wasn't.
I remember when I started looking at your deal in your paperwork, it wasn't real clear, and one of the first things I asked you was, who's paying these commissions? Your deal, there was, I think it was a $4,000 commission that was owed to this agent, but it was being paid by the seller. Now, guys, you have to know now in 2025 and beyond, they changed the real estate commission rules on how buyers, agent commissions are paid. They used to that
Oh my God.
it was an assumption, everybody did it that way, and you never had to talk about it. Today you got to talk about it. You got to make sure you're clear about how that's getting paid. So guys, Tamara said she double dipped. In other words, Tamara said to this agent, I'm a representative, the buyer side commission is up for grabs, and you're welcome to have it. Now, even though you have the double dip conversation, just like I did, you still have to figure out who's paying it. So basically getting paid by the seller side, and by you on the buyer side, or the seller could pay both sides, or you could pay both. I mean, like, it's all up for negotiation now. So make sure you guys are having that conversation. When you say to that agent, hey, I'm happy to let you take the buyer side and represent me on the deal. I want you to do that. But let's just make sure we're clear about who's paying that. If I'm paying it, no problem. I just have to factor it into my numbers and make sure the deal pencils. If the seller's paying it, great. I don't have to worry about it. And so that was what happened with your deal. At least the one I dealt with was the seller was paying.
Yeah, but come back, ask me that question. Did you say that you pay our fee? And it's like, yes, I can work with you. Be able to add it in.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, think about it. If you want to be all in at the deal at, let's say, 100, and there's a $5,000 commission, or let's say $3,000 commission that you're agreeing to pay, then your price to the seller needs to be 97, so you can pay the 3,000 to be all in. You know what I mean? You got to factor that in. And when I was doing the deal with Tamara, like, we were running numbers. I'm like, okay, what number are we really at? What's our total number? Because we want to make sure we're taking this for the right price when we go to disco. Did you have any reluctance with this agent, being that you were new at real estate? Did he have a problem with that? Did you tell him that? Did he not ask that? How'd that go?
He didn't really ask. It was interesting though, because in this particular situation, I tried several times, like running the calculations, getting offers, and just decline, but kept following up. And in this particular case, I decided to run down there and meet with the agent and come to the properties in that state to make all the difference. Because I would say within a week or two of doing that, that's when I was ready as moved.
Yeah, this is something I've been talking about quite a bit lately, which is if you want to create a competitive advantage in the marketplace, you want to kind of really stand out above everybody else, then one way to do that is to meet sellers and agents in person. Now, a lot of people look at that and they're like, man, that's not very scalable, that's very time consuming, maybe I could get more done if I just stayed on the phones, I could make more offers, get more deals done. All of that is true to a sense. But when you can meet somebody, how valuable it was, you're able to create trust connection that you just can't do as well on the phone. And so I agree, Tamara. I think meeting that seller or meeting that agent in person was, it allowed him to kind of get to know you, feel good about you, you're a real person, you're not just someone on the phone, and then he remembers you, he calls you, not somebody else, right? Like all those things make a big difference. So like use that leg up in the marketplace. So that's great. Okay, now this one was tricky because it took two renegotiations. One you did, and then one I did. So let's talk about that. What was your initial contract price on this property?
My initial contract price was $111,800.
111,800. Okay, then you submitted that deal to us. We went back and said, it's too high. You need to come down some more. And then we negotiated it down to 76 or 75?
86.5.
Oh, 86.5, that's right, 86.5. And then that's when we came into the picture. And what was that like when you went back to them and said, hey, 111 doesn't work, I need to be at 86? And that's a significant drop.
It was, yeah. It was, I think anything that could go wrong with your deal did, because also the three of them were stuck under a list of amendments that had processed the finish the door. So we got all these factors. So I think that actually worked in my favor when I went back to renegotiate that drop. Like, we felt so bad that we were having to deal with that, and it was holding up all 4 properties. So that one wasn't part of the one we needed.
So then our team went to Dispo, and we did a lot of outreach, talked to a lot of buyers, and all of them were under that, quite a bit under that. We were getting some offers in the 60s and low 70s, and I think most of the local rehabbers were looking at ARV being a little lower, and they were looking at the rehab being a little bigger, and it's easy to do. And then we had one buyer that came in at 87.5, right? 87.5. but they were sort of on the fence. They weren't really at that point. But they seemed pretty certain about it. And what it did is it validated to us that, we're under contract at about where we need to be to buyers in the marketplace. So then I said to Tamara, we're going to have to try to do another renegotiation. I don't remember, I said, Tamara, I feel really bad for you having to do this. You already did it once. Let me do it. Recorded that call, and I made a YouTube video to show, like, how to renegotiate. And if you watch me on that call, he's pretty put out about it. He's like, are you kidding me? You can hear him puffing and puffing. He's like, you guys, what are you doing? But like all good agents, he said, I'll go back and see what the seller says, but obviously he's not happy about that. I took it the way you should take it, which is I'm really sorry. I was submissive about it. So if you watch me, I'm like, look, I'm really sorry. I get it. Here's why. I tried to explain why, and it's just not a fun conversation. Awkward. You feel dumb. But that's what you have to do. Like that's why it's always better to get a really smoking deal and not a date. But it does happen sometimes. So if you guys get a chance, watch that video. See how that conversation went. So the renegotiation offer I told him was 70. That 86.5 was at 111, and now we go to 70. Now the reason I went to 70 was I wanted to us a little wiggle room if the seller countered, which they did. It came back at 75, and we took it. Now there was a little window of time there, and I don't know if I explained this to you, but in that window of time when we said 70 and they came back at 75, and it was time to like sign the addendum to do the price reduction, we went back to that buyer at 87.5, and we said, look, we're about to lock in with our seller. You have to firm up your price at 87.5. Because initially we said, I need a couple days. And we said, we can't. You got to lock it in, and you got to come in with non-refundable earnest money. And the reason why is we did not want to go back to your agent and that seller at 75 and then not have our buyer and have to back out and renegotiate again. That would have killed the whole thing for sure at that point. The part of the scary part about this was we were worried and you were worried that this one deal and this renegotiation could possibly jeopardize your other deals with that agent. So when you said, Jerry, I really don't want to foul this up because I got 3 other deals with this agent that should go through. And I said, oh, okay, yes, we don't want to screw up your other deals. So that's when we decided to go ahead and double close. So backing up a second there, we got the price back to renegotiated at 75. We locked in the buyer at 75.
To accept this
We had a
work.
$12,500 assignment or wholesale fee. And the easiest thing would have been just do an assignment and close it on time and done. But Tamara brought up a good point, which is, Gary, if this agent sees our $12,500 assignment and we beat that seller up all the way down to 75, that might not sit well, which is a good point. I mean, that's a really good point. So that's why we went ahead and ended up doing the double closing on it, which worked out really well. What we did is we did closing with seller directly to you, Tamara. My company funded the double close, so then you had a deal with me, like a loan agreement.
All right, well, see you again.
you